National Chess Master Rats at chess.com, continuing my video series on the correspondence team match played between my video lessons group and the team CARPE DIEM. These games were played on board 62. Our man is Joe96 versus Yedyge, I guess. And let's have a look. I think that our guy was lucky to win both games. We'll see what happens when we get there. Okay. White definitely misplayed his advantages in both games. I don't know if he had enough to win in this game, but he had all the winning chances. So they're just playing a Sicilian defense, and I think Black has equalized. He's picked up the bishop pair, but White's got his normal development. And here's an interesting move: e5, opening up the position. Black is pretty much obliged to take, and Black needs to get castle, but he holds off just a move. And now Black needs to take back with the pawn. Otherwise, he's going to drop the pawn on a7. I don't think he has enough play for it. But the game is even. But here, I don't think a3 really helps White. It's weakening those queenside pawns. Probably what Black should think about is sticking a rook on b8, putting a little pressure down there, but he doesn't. He puts the queen here. And this seems odd to play b4. Now the pawns are really weak, but essentially this should lead to an even game. And knight d5. Now Black's giving up a pawn, but he can get it back. And he does get it back. But I think the game is very, very even. And if they agreed to a draw right about here, it wouldn't surprise me. But Black's going to make things tough on himself here in a couple of moves, and we will see. White does have an outside pass pawn, but it can be stopped. And here Black really commits a mistake. I really don't understand this point, but he doesn't follow it up the right way. He has some tricks. This just offers a pawn for nothing. So I'm assuming it was a blunder, because he didn't see the tactical follow-up. Black now plays bishop e5, and let me show you the tactical follow-up. It's not easy to see, but it's bishop c5. That's an interesting move. What does White do? For instance, if bishop takes, suddenly you get this move, and because of the back rank tricks, Black has regained his pawn, and he's going to regain the piece actually also, and probably the game is going to end in a quick draw. What else can White try here? Let's see. If he retreats the bishop, Black is still going to take on b5. Well, no, he can't retreat the bishop to c3. Black will just take it. So this was a nice little shot, and it gives White the winning chances. Now, is White actually winning this? Well, we don't know. Rook and pawn innings are tricky. Black is the one that gets to have White's the one that gets to have the fun here, trying for the win. White has 4 pawns. He shouldn't lose this. White has 5 pawns. Black has 4. White should not lose this. But he finds a way to do just that. And Black is stuck to blockading this pawn and kind of doomed to a passive defense. But here, I think White starts overplaying his hand. The simple move to play is just f3. This will get rid of the back rank tricks. And the idea is to try to get the king into play. Okay, and make Black prove he can hold this. Get rid of that back rank threat. Suddenly this rook becomes active. And Black's going to have to take care of this pawn on d5. But f4 just gives Black an advanced pass pawn. Now, you don't want to do this. Why give your opponent a pass pawn? Starts giving him all sorts of play here. And, the game is still slightly in White's favor. He's a pawn up, but suddenly Black's got a glimmer of hope that White allowed. White didn't have to allow this. There's no way Black should get an advanced pass pawn in this line. Now you say, well, what if White does it against f3? Well, so what? Okay. Isn't White going to get a pass pawn here? Yeah. I guess he is. He's ready to play e3. Well, just take it and start working on it. You know, and if black wants to go collect this pawn back, fine, let him. You know, black has to prove that he can draw this. You know, white has no danger whatsoever of losing. Okay? I mean, it's still, white has to prove the win in all variations, but now that pawn is a protected pass pawn, and it's advanced. So white proceeds to bungle this game really quickly here. It's just kind of sad what he did. Suddenly now, white's going to have to face two center pass pawns. Okay, a little trick, make a queen. But look at that. Even though white's a pawn ahead, black is much better here. Black is probably winning this game after d4. These two pawns, white's a pawn ahead, but two pawns run quicker than three. Plus, those two pawns are farther advanced. Plus, the black rook is on the 7th rank, restricting the white king. Plus, the black king is active. Black's winning this. And white just starts helping the black king out. Come on, come up into my position. And after king takes, white lost the game on time, but there's really no hope here. These pawns are too strong. They're going to advance, and they're going to make a queen. This king is getting ready to penetrate into the position to help him. I mean, white's lost. Okay, let's flip the board. And white had a drawn hand and ended up losing it. Okay, we'll enter another game. What move number will it start us out at? We never know until we click. Oh, look at that, move 23. My goodness, why won't it just start it out at the beginning like it's supposed to? Well, we'll see if version 3, if it ever comes out, corrects that. Okay, so we got the Queen's Gambit accepted. And now, I'm really against these strategies where black tries to hang on to this pawn. Okay, it's going to work out. He's going to hang on to it because I think white misplays his position. E4 has a great winning percentage for white, even after b5. But, develop your pieces. Why try to hold on to a pawn and be behind in development and have to justify it later? Well, anyway, black does play to try to hold on to the pawn. Now he's threatening to take here. So white covers that. Now black threatens to take here. So white covers that. And now black says, aha, I'm going to hold on to my pawn. But, why? Where's your development? Okay? You're holding onto this pawn, but look at this. Your last 3 moves are pawn moves. Well, the last 2 moves anyway. b5 and c6, and you put a knight on the side to hold on to a pawn. Meanwhile, white's got his entire army mobilized, except for this rook on a1. Black hasn't castled, hasn't developed most of his queen side. For a pawn, why subject yourself to an active game by white? And white does find some creative play here. We'll see what he does here in a moment. Now, I might have opted for knight e4 here. Just a nice square for the knight, but he doesn't do that. He takes it off. And, maybe to some degree black has gotten away with stealing that pawn now. But it's a complicated position. Now, here white invites black to weaken his position or castle and lose the game immediately to a checkmate. Now black decides to activate that knight he put out of the way. But where does it go next? Now, it's one thing when you move a knight. Think about where it goes next. It really doesn't have anywhere else to go except back, at least now, unless later there could be some pressure on d4. It's a nice square, but, now black decides to get rid of that. And here white makes a speculative sacrifice, which is unsound. He gets a little attack for it, but it shouldn't have worked. The safest move is probably bring the king back to g8, get him off that open file now. And with careful play, black should consolidate his extra piece and win this game. But white gets a little bit of nuisance value here, but black should hold this with correct play and get the point. Now black's finally catching up in development, and here black kind of bungles his advantage a little bit, and the simple thing to do now is just take. Okay, then after pin, take again, check. And you do have to cover this mate threat, but that's easily enough done. And I think black will come out on top here. He's got two rooks and a knight for the queen. I think with careful play, black will come out ahead. But maybe there's a psychological thing about having to give up your queen, even though you're getting two rooks for it. Sometimes people just don't understand this. So he plays here. And, white's got some play here, but he's going to have to play this accurately. But, black should be okay here. And a little discovery. Watch the queen. Okay, saves the queen. But white's just traded off one of his better pieces. And black is still a piece ahead, and white hasn't proved anything yet. Okay, covers e6. And here, black just overlooks a tactic. His move looks logical and reasonable, but black's got to find a way to get this rook into play. And that's going to take some doing, but he should be able to do it. And here's one of the problems he has, this knight. This knight's going to have to somehow get back in the game. And if he does that, he'll probably come out ahead, but he overlooks a shot here. Okay, all of a sudden white has this little trick here. And there's the trick, pinning this bishop. You can't play bishop f7 because queen takes check, followed by bishop takes. So black grabs the bishop and suddenly finds himself with a losing game. And now the threat is rook f8 check, and it's unstoppable. So black comes here, but rook f8 comes anyway. And at this point, black lost on time. But clearly he's going to lose this game. White just got too much of an advantage now. This pawn is way too strong. It's going to start marching down the board, and here's this knight over here not helping. If g5, there's rook g7 or queen f6 check, rook g7, e7, and goodbye. I'll prove that. Let's see, check. And sacrifice the queen. You take, and the queen is reborn. And white's up a queen for a rook. So, black just wasn't quite up the defensive task here. It was an imaginative game by white. It was a speculative sacrifice. It created some play, probably more suited for the type of chess that's more suited for over the board when you have to solve it. In correspondence chess, you don't want to make unless you really see full composition, you generally don't want to make a speculative sacrifice like this. But the way people play chess online now, they blitz their moves. You can get away with it. Anyway, hope you enjoyed these games. I'm now officially caught up. There are 60 games remaining to be played in this team match, and it's over. There's approximately a potential 42 videos right about there that could be made depending on the outcomes. I know we have a number of our players that have won one game that will have a video made, but they need to complete their other game first, so I can make two videos at once, or if they can get a win or a draw, and if they lose it, then a video of their one game will definitely be forthcoming. But we're getting there. We're winding down, and I thank everyone so much for watching this series, and hope you're learning something from it. Take care.